A very pleasant day to you all. I am Kings Ojalo and I welcome you to newspaper review here in First Desk News Port Harcourt. I am with my colleague, Cassitoni. Good to have you on set, Cassitoni.
Thank you so much, Kings.
Now we will be looking at our newspaper headlines on all newspaper platforms, starting with the Daily Sun newspaper. On the Daily Sun newspaper, we have Fubara impeachment plot suffers setback. You find that in page 6 of that newspaper platform. Still on that, on the top, in page 22, we have a Oranto Petroleum. We suspended oil exploration in Senegal last year. Says it took action when Senegalese government breached agreement. You find that in page 22 of that newspaper platform. Still on that, on the bottom line, we have in page 27, Shatima unveils Nigeria food security plan at Davos. Going to page 28, Tinubu post for ambassador designates to US, UK, France, Turkey ahead of visits. Still on that, Tinubu okays oil drilling at waterside Olokola deep seaport to take off. That is in Enugu State by Governor Abia. Find that in page 25. Still on that, foreign lenders drag FBN trustee Solo Gambari to court over a Conde that is coming from Nestor security deal. Now moving to the next newspaper platform, which is the Nation newspaper. On the Nation newspaper, we have body written, Rivers CJ gives conditions to raise impeachment panel. Still on that newspaper platform, we have Fayose raises dust over Makinde Villa visit. Find that in page 5 of that newspaper platform. Still on that, Sanwo-Olu sponsors get kudos from AU Afroma. Find that in page 26. Still on that, in page 27, police declare bomb scare in Lagos school force. You find that in page 27. Now in page 25, local federal contractors get 152 billion naira payments. Now still on that, in page 4, Nigeria economic reform working, says IMF. Moving to the First Daily newspaper. On the First Daily newspaper, we have body written, Makinde meets Tinubu, insists, I am comfortable in PDP. That's the strong one for the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde. Now, still on that, on the top, 2027 at risk. Article accuses Senate of stalling electoral reforms. Still on that newspaper, gunmen kill 7 miners in Fresh Plateau bloodshed. We also have INEC warns foreigners against illegal voter registration. Still on that, Akpabio heads to Supreme Court over Akpotu Uduaga suspension. Now, still on that newspaper, River Crisis, Chief Judge defers Assembly rejects pro panel. Still have court admits DSS evidence on Sowere's Tinubu is a criminal claim. Now, still on that newspaper, Nigeria-US reframe security partnership on counter-terrorism. Now, we also have America exits WHO ending decade of membership. Now, going to the next newspaper platform, which is This Day newspaper. On This Day newspaper, we have Rivers CJ. My hands is filtered. Stop impeachment process against Fubara. That is coming from Udo. Now, moving ahead to the Vanguard newspaper, we have on the Vanguard, on the middle of the Vanguard newspaper, in page 5, US rises fresh concern, tax FG on stronger actions. Still on that newspaper, we have why I decline to constitute panel to probe Fubara. That is Rivers CJ. Find that in page 12. Now on the top, page 19 says 4 trillion naira debts. FG bows to pressure, pays 152 billion naira to contractors. We also have NJC okays 14 lawyers as Federal High Court judge. Find that in page 8 of that newspaper platform. Now, still ahead, we have Kadirat Abiola's murder. Supreme Court dismisses case against Major Mustafa. That is in page 6. We also have 2027 Saraki calls for credible polls, effective fight against drafts. Find that in page 8. Now, we also have in page 9, Akpabio, Natasha resume legal battle as Senate President appeals. Now, I will be handing over to my colleague, by the name Cassitoni.
Thank you so much, Kings. Moving to the next newspaper, The Matrix. Boldly written, Kaduna mass adoptions. Nigeria must do more to protect Christians. That's coming from the US. You find that on page 2. On top of the newspaper, hopes rise for CVFF disbursements as Oyetola launches application portal. Moving to the next newspaper, Daily Independent. Boldly written, Shell eyes $20 billion investment in Nigeria after successful $7 billion deal. On top of the newspaper, poultry sector fit to drive Nigerians' industrial value chain. That's coming from stakeholders. Why I can't raise panel to probe Fubara deputy by Chief Judge. Still in the newspaper, Kudirat Abiola, Supreme Court dismisses trial of Al Mustafa. You find that on page 29. Moving to the next newspaper, Daily Trust. Boldly written, Leaders' verdict on Fourth Republic. Still in the newspaper, Tinubu poses ambassadors to US, France, 2 others. You find that on page 28. Impeachment. Rivers CJ declines to constitute panel. You find that on page 12. Moving to the next newspaper, Platform Times. Boldly written, EFCC alleged massive fraud through Nigerian banks, fintechs. On top of the newspaper, Makinde dismisses defection rumors after presidential meeting. Still in the newspaper, Rivers Chief Judge hauls Assembly's Fubara probe. Still in the newspaper, OOU Vice Chancellor hails Nelford as varsity graduates 5,808 students honors business leader. Moving to the next newspaper, Blueprint. Boldly written, Insecurity. Nigeria-US military partnership yielding operational fruits. That's coming from NSA Idris. On top of the newspaper, CRFHC and BIDA, 13 others get NJC nod for appointment as judges. You find that on page 7. NCC licenses new internet service providers. You find that on page 21. AFCON, CAF rank ACOL gold against Algeria among top 5. You find that on page 32.
Thanks for that, Cassie. That's all we have on this segment on newspaper review here in First Next News. I am Kings Ojalo.
And I am Cassie Tony.
And it's a bye for now.